This is Recover with Cal, and I'm here to share my journey with you.
This podcast is intended to not only help Callam in his recovery, but also to give hope and support to others who are going through difficult situations in their lives.
All right, welcome back. This is your host, Callam Oliver. I'm joined here with my good friend, Gary Nickel.
Recovery with Cal!
Yeah, Recover with Cal.
Did I beat you to it? Sorry, buddy. I totally beat you. I was so excited to say it. I was like, is he going to say it? He nailed it like you always do.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
This is the party that never stops giving.
So in our last episode, we were looking at moving from ICU into trauma.
Yeah.
And we looked at the importance of friends and family and that social connection that was really so meaningful for me.
Oh yeah.
And in my recovery, and that just understanding that you're loved, and part of recovery is understanding like what do you love as well. Like that's this. And if you can find that, then you can find some motivation to keep you going.
Oh yeah. And you had it was like non-stop visitors all the time. And you talk about it all the time too, about how big that was to get you to where you are now. Just because when you're in there all by yourself, your brain can go running all over the place and everything can get all crazy. And we were talking about grounding before. It sort of grounds you a little bit every time someone comes in, and then you can ask about them, and it sort of takes you out of that, I don't want to say jail cell, but that enclosure that you feel all the time because you're in there.
Yeah. And, an interesting thing that Karen brought up in the previous episode was it's okay to be real and say, like, this is crummy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay to say you're not doing the best. Yeah.
Like, I think that was like our conversation, when we were like greeting each other. It's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh man, like I'm having a rough day. And you're like, yeah, I'm having a rough day too.
Literally, we were both on the verge of tears right before we got on here. Yeah. But yeah, we got each other and we got each other's backs, and
it's true.
Now we're literally walking examples of what we're talking about.
And you got to be open about that sort of thing with your friends, with your family, and also with yourself. That's
probably the most important one. Right?
Yeah.
You always want to be strong. You want to put up that strong, nothing can hurt me, nothing can harm me. I'm Superman. Look at me go. When in reality, everybody's
everyone's finding some sort of having a bad day or going through a rough time. And hey, this is what Recovery with Cal is about, though. That's right? It's like kind of like finding those moments in the conversation where it relates to, hey, I went through spinal cord injury and I'm still going through it. Maybe you're going through something as well. But it's all right to have bad days.
Yeah.
And to feel kind of like, oh man, I feel kind of beat up today. I feel sore. And I was telling you about, something that I kind of took away from my therapies, and that was anchoring yourself.
Yes.
Just like taking a moment to take in all of the surrounding environment that you're feeling, seeing, smelling, hearing, all those sort of things, all the environmental pieces. And then also acknowledging your own thoughts.
And that led to me saying, yes, that's a great point. And then one of the things that I don't think you and I have really talked about much is no matter how big my issues are with all the stuff that's going on around me, it's so hard to say, well, hey, Cal, yeah, I'm having a bad day too, while looking at you in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? Like the worst day for me is nothing compared to yours. So who am I to complain to you about anything? And that's sort of one of the barriers that gets put up. And it's so hard to be like, yeah, I'm really going through it too, because I can still use my frickin' legs,
And, from me, I can take that to the next person that I know that might be in a harder situation than I am, and, relate to their pain, their suffering.
Was there a
you
lot of
know?
guys that were like worse off than you when you were in their recovery?
Oh yeah, I think so. Like, it's maybe it's not my place
Oh, of course
to
not.
put
Yeah, to
judge on it,
judge. Yeah.
judge it, but
Other guys going through a lot of stuff.
yeah, I saw, men and women and people of all ages going through some really tough times in their life medically, right? And yeah, it was eye opening for sure.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly, and just from my perspective, it's so, it's so nice to talk things out with you like that, because those are the types of things, like we talked about it before, how we had to like talk people into coming to visit you because they were scared about how it would go or what to say or what to do, because they have nothing to relate to with it. And it's like, I want to go see my buddy, but I don't know how to talk to him. And I was like, dude, just come in. Like, he'll be so happy to see you. Just focus on that. Don't worry about anything else. And there was numerous guys we brought in, and like, thank you so much. And it's so interesting to just sort of push people into that spot where this is important. And like you just talked about it, the importance of people visiting you while you're in there. It helps so much, because it takes you sort of out of that mental prison that you're in. Say, hey, how are you doing? What's going on with this? How's the family? It normalizes everything.
yeah, you see the person first, and
Mm-hmm.
not the medical apparatus that they might be attached to
Yeah.
or in or whatnot.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
Good segue, buddy.
let's
Good
go
segue.
back into trauma unit. We're gonna go through my exodus of trauma into City Hospital, and
This is the first car ride since the accident, correct?
yeah, like I had to get to a point in my recovery that I was healthy enough
Yeah.
to leave
To be able to
University
move.
Hospital.
Yeah.
During like University Hospital, I was slowly coming off some of the IVs, some of the tubes. I was still connected to a catheter. I was still in need of a crane
Yes. The crane.
and a sling to get me up, to get me out of bed. So they essentially, my nurses would come in and they'd roll me, tuck this sling in, roll me again, and then they would hook up this sling to a crane, and then the crane would lift me up
Out of the bed.
and they would lower me into a chair.
Man, and that's that. Like, I remember the first time I saw that bed, I was like, what is this thing? It's
Yeah.
exactly what you think. It's your hospital bed, and then right over top of it is a big crane that goes out like this and moves back and forth and swings you around and pops you in.
And I end up using the crane for another, like maybe probably another month. I was using the crane until I had enough strength to like move my own body.
How good did that feel the first time you went no crane, bro?
Yeah.
Or I guess how sore you
it's
were.
Scary. It's for sure scary, and it still is when I do transfers.
Yeah.
I know I have to really do a good transfer right now. I'm only 6 months, half a year from my accident, so by no means am I comfortable with all my transfers yet. But interesting enough, being in a wheelchair for the first time was kind of funny.
Here we go.
So I had this like this vision in my head that like I had been like contained in my curtained room for so long that once I got into a wheelchair, like, oh, the world's mine. I'm like I'm gonna just like go
Cruise around.
anywhere.
I compare it to the first time you got a bike, like a pedal bike when you were a kid.
Sure.
It opens up a whole new world for you, and you're like, I'm gonna go and get out there and see.
I'm going
everything.
past the block, right?
Hell yeah. I was exploring.
So they put me into a wheelchair, and a good friend of mine, Paul, was with me, and we had plans to, like go kind of explore, maybe see if there's a cafeteria open, have a coffee or something like this. And they put me into the chair, and now this chair was not like the chair I have right now. It had wheels, but it was like probably meant just to be pushed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they put me in this chair, and they wheel me out into the hallway, and I just like looked around, and I'm like, oh man, I just feel like a pylon. Like a pylon wrapped in a blanket or
And
something.
you're expecting this big,
Yeah.
life-changing
Oh.
moment, and then boom.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Mr.
Yeah,
Pylon.
and
How
I
you
was
doing?
like, I'm lost in this, like all these like hallways, right?
Mhm. Hallways and
Yeah.
people and everything, the hustle and the bustle, and you're like, what am I doing?
So I was always searching out for natural light
Yes.
in
Oh.
University Hospital, and it was hard to come by. The only place that had natural light for me was my physical therapy sessions that I would go to. It was on like the main floor of the hospital, and I could see windows,
Get a glimpse.
get a glimpse.
Yeah.
And looking back at that, I would only go for about half hour, and we'd just work on like the smallest basics movements, trying to balance, just kind of like trying to explore, just holding my body up with my hands, like sitting on a plinth.
Getting a feel for it.
Yeah, and it's all the stuff that they began to teach me is small steps to what the big skills that you need to know down the way. But this environment was awesome for me because it was just like an escape from my room, you know.
Well, that's all you want.
Yeah. I remember I'm almost out of City Hospital. It's my last session in physical therapy. I really want to go out with a bang.
Oh, hell yeah. That's something you don't know about Cal.
Yeah.
He loves to go out with a bang.
And so I had got to a point where I was practicing like pushing my butt off the mat. So I was just pressing, trying to lift my body up, and I had very, very, very weak body muscles at that point.
Because you hadn't moved them in 6 months.
It takes a long time to actually start to build muscle up, but I really want to give her, and so I was like, gave like the big like grunt, like, "Rah!" And I got a pretty decent lift, and I was happy about it, and I let myself down, and I'm scooching back to get ready to get in my chair, and I looked back, and I had poo smeared.
I was wondering if you were going there.
I went out with a bang, and my physical therapist said this to me. He's like, "Well, if you're not shitting, you're not trying hard enough."
So you nailed it.
I was like, all right.
1,000%,
like,
you nailed it.
That's kind of it. Like,
Well, yeah, when you think about it, like when you're pushing that hard, right? And another fun little fact about my good friend the Seahawk here, with those transfers, one of the first ones we did when I dropped you off at your parents' place, you were going down the transfer board,
yeah,
and you slipped off at the end and landed on the wheel.
Yeah.
And then right when you landed, it just pushed all the air out, and you just started farting.
Oh,
and it wasn't just like one; it was like. And then we both started laughing.
Yeah.
It just kept going because you don't control it. Like you can't control it.
Oh, totally.
So you're like, this is what happens. It was one of the funniest
There was
things,
sort of
man.
like bodily functions I had no idea, like being an able-bodied person, that people in my situation now, like paraplegic and other people as well, they can't like move their legs or whatnot, and for me, my abdomen and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like all the other muscles too, right?
Like the ones that make sure you don't just fart on anytime it happens.
Muscles that like for peeing, for pooing, for farting,
That's
the list
real
goes
shit
on,
right there.
right?
That's what we're talking about. That's the real this situation.
And that was actually we can maybe. It might come up later, but it's a big part of my recovery is learn how to manage my bowels and manage my bladder care.
Yeah, you got timers set up. And it's like, I have to go take a pee, and you have to do this, and
it's a huge part of my day, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, I digress. So, anyways, you can use that, Gary. If you're not shitting, you're not trying hard enough.
It's so funny you say that. Just the other day. And I'm not sure when this is going to be released, but we were talking about the first time I ever snowboarded. And I only ever snowboarded one time.
Yeah.
And I was on the Bunny Hill This is totally off topic, but it's quite humorous. The Bunny Hill at the big mountain in Whitefish, Montana. And the Bunny Hill there is like a giant hill. And
Sure.
first time I ever tried snowboard, I was like 8 or 9 years old. And I was going down and I fell. And I fell again and I started getting angry. And I fell again and I started hurting my butt and my back. And then I had to poop. And I kept going and we kept going. And then, eventually I got about halfway down and that was it. I knew I wasn't going to get to the bottom in time. So
Yeah.
I filled up my britches.
Oh, jeez.
And I walked down and then walked all the way back to the condo, which was like on the hill.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to Mom that I pooped my pants and I'm never snowboarding again. And that was with full functioning control of my bowels. So I know how it feels. And that was the story I told on the show the other day. So
Okay.
that's why it's
Yeah.
relevant here. But still, it's, yeah. Even when you do have
Well,
control, she
it
still
sounds like
sneaks
you're
up
sounds like you're trying really hard.
I was trying, exactly. That was my 1000%. I just wanted to be a snowboarder so bad, and it wasn't for me. I
Yeah.
haven't touched one since.
So
Control of your bodily functions.
that's right. And that's a lesson I'm still working on anyways, but
Do you find you're getting better at it now as you go?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even
You
like
know, there's setbacks and everything, it's not always perfect. But I know I'm new, right? Like
yeah,
this
you
is
give yourself
this
that
is,
leeway.
yeah, I got to give myself some grace in this. And eventually I'm going to be comfortable with how knowing my body as it is right now.
Yeah.
And then I can, then I'll feel more comfortable with those sort of bodily functions that I'm working with, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't think that bodily function talk was on our list of things to talk about.
no, I don't
That was a
think
freebie. Just sort of went that way.
So getting back to
Yes.
leaving University Hospital then,
Yeah, your first
so I
time.
had to be well enough to go to rehabilitation in city, and it took me a while. Speaking of bodily functions, I had a UTI, which is a urinary infection, which held me back. So, and that kind of, we talked about bodily functions. That's a big thing for people that are needing to do intermittent caffeinating and that sort of thing. Like it's an important aspect that you have to always make sure that you're on top of.
Yeah. Emergency alert.
Yeah, it's emergency alert.
Gee whiz. Okay.
Anyways, so that took me a while, and then I was cleared. I was healthy, and they said, "Okay, you're ready to go to rehabilitation at City Hospital." And I was jacked because I wanted to get out
Get out
of
there. Yeah,
the curtain room.
that's it.
And I was like, "How long's like the wait?" And they said, "Well, it can be up to 2 weeks." And my heart just dropped. Half an hour later, they came back and said, "You're ready to go at 1:00
That day?
that day."
Come on.
So it was just a huge blessing for me.
Universe.
Laura was with me. We
Universe.
packed up all my stuff
Yeah.
in that room, and
Make a big move.
they carted us downstairs with the porter into this like kind of dingy pickup place. Like it was the old part of the university hospital. So it's like, think of like Hogwarts or something like that, like it just like looked kind of sketchy.
Yeah, sketchy little drop off and pick up spot, of course.
I was like, oh man, like what's this going to be like? And it did not get better.
No.
So we waited, and eventually we got picked up. And I thought I was going over in an ambulance.
Yeah.
Probably would have been expensive. So they sent me over in a van, like a wheelchair van.
Accessibility van, yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, looking back, it was like, I've used them now a few times before. That was my first, like,
What went through your head when you saw that thing pull up?
I was like, how am I going to get in this? And it was like December, so it was snowing. And this lady came out and started pushing me through all the ruts in the snow. And they loaded me in the back of this van and hooked me up. And that ride was so bumpy. Just
Now,
like bumping over
most people are thinking, but Callam, you can't feel like from here
Oh,
down.
yeah.
You're not feeling those bumps, are you, bro?
Oh, I'm just like trying to balance on my spine, just like, and it was like I had been in a hospital environment where like everything was like super like controlled.
Yeah.
There's structure. There's like, like when you got moved, you used a crane, like all
Yeah.
this other stuff. And then I'm in like this like wild ride.
Dude, it's like safety nets. It's like a
Yeah.
safety harness. And then all of a sudden everything comes off and off you go.
Yeah. So it was a pretty crazy ride for my first experience being in the vans.
Yeah. Now, how did you feel once you got there?
City Hospital was amazing. And the big piece of it was the environment,
Oh, yeah.
the structure of it, and how it's like, architecturally, and then also just the thought that they put into the environment was so different. Mind you, this is a modern building.
Yeah.
But there was natural light all over the place.
Oh, our lunchroom, dog.
Oh,
Our lunchroom.
yes.
I miss that thing, man.
So Gary would come over every Monday and Friday, and we'd always have lunch in this
What's it called?
visitors
Like
lounge.
Like
And
it's like an atrium or something.
Yeah,
hey?
well, this like it was just like a sunroom.
Yeah, it's
The
all
entire
windows.
wall.
Yeah.
It was windows, and it overlooked City Park
Yeah,
and
it had plants
and
in
the
there
river.
and stuff. It was just, it's amazing.
The first time I went into that room, and it was kind of like the first time I'd seen the sun.
Yeah.
I rolled up to the window, and I just let that sun just like bask on me. And I just closed my eyes because it's pretty bright.
Oh yeah. Well, I'd always have I got said laser eye surgery eyeballs, so they're all super sensitive to the light. So I'd always have to like move over to like the corner of some little spot where it wasn't just blasting me. Meanwhile, you're just basking in the glory.
It felt so good. I just sat there and cried.
Yeah.
Like that's
one of your first goals. That's one of the first things you
Yeah.
wanted to do was feel the damn sunshine on your skin.
Being there, my senses were heightened in different ways, and that was just like one of them. Is like,
Yeah.
I had this really beautiful sensations in my recovery, that things felt like it was like the first time doing them.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just always in awe when this happened. Like the first time seeing the sun through a window. I remember over Christmas, this choir came in and sang songs, and I just sat there and just cried through every Christmas carol that they played. And it was just like the most beautiful thing that I had heard, right?
These are things that we all take for granted, and then once they're gone, you just don't realize. It's like, oh man, like when's the, like just all and you come from a family that, a religious family, and the importance of Christmas and all of this stuff. So to be able to get some sort of feeling from that takes you, it takes you back. It's going to get you.
It's interesting that you bring that up too, because, I sometimes reflect on health and recovery, and something that comes to my mind is that holistic, indigenous way of looking at your health, and your physical health, your intellectual health, your emotional health, and also your spiritual health. And I was happy at City Hospital to have that aspect of spiritual health be a part of my recovery. I people would come in and let me know that they were praying for me, and like
who's our
huge
friend?
community out there that were like were supporting me, and like that faith community. And there was a beautiful chapel on the main floor, and there's also a really nice multi-faith room that would have smudging. So I took in smudging, indigenous smudging, and then I would take in church service, and sometimes I would just roll down there just for a place just to sit.
Just to sit. That's it. Sit with God, sit with whatever that is for you, and take it all in. What was the lady's name who would drop off the comic strips? Always stop by.
Oh, Rita.
Yeah, Rita was
She's
awesome.
94 years old.
She runs down the halls, man.
Yeah.
My grandma's 94. It's crazy.
I was like, I met so many amazing people.
Yeah.
So Rita would bring in little comic strips.
Like exactly what you're thinking, like the comic strips
Like
from like a newspaper.
Yes, that's right. And, it would just brighten my day.
Yeah.
Right. And she'd tell a story and that sort of thing.
Was she a nun?
She had been a nun, I believe.
Yeah.
And she also was a tour guide in Israel.
That was the one.
Yeah. She
stories.
Yeah, she has some amazing stories.
She was always blessing everyone, and it was just like, very nice, very nice stuff.
But that environment of what I experienced there, reflecting on it, was so important.
Yeah. Well, it was
And
preparing you for now,
yeah, I
you
think so.
know?
I
It
think it,
was.
it maybe it was that stepping stone of like, okay, let's get back into the transitioning into what the world is like
Yeah.
outside of the hospital, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's like you could go and visit with other patients. There's art on the walls. I bought a piece of the art that really was meaningful for
It
me.
spoke to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was this raven. It was a watercolor painting of a raven, and every time I went past it, I thought in my mind, like, okay, I can't use like my legs anymore. But like a raven, I gotta learn how to fly.
Ooh.
Like I gotta learn how to use my arms. I gotta learn how to
Yeah.
use that part of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it home with me.
That's amazing.
I bought it, of
Yeah, he
course,
didn't
but
steal it. Paid top dollar.
yeah. But like those small things were
Yeah,
important.
that's it. Those are huge. They're stepping stones to returning to yourself, whatever that is, your new self. There's all these things. Everything we've been talking about today are all things that you needed personally for your journey to continue moving forward.
Yeah. And thinking about like what you're saying, being out of the hospital now, I've been out for maybe 2 months, I think. You know, those are part of my life that I try to contain,
Yeah.
right? Like, or not contain, that I want to continue,
Continue, yeah.
right? Like, getting fresh air, getting that natural light, having a
Yeah.
spiritual connection.
Well, and all those things were huge for you before the accident too. That's why,
true. Yeah.
you want to get back to that. And it takes you to your happy place.
Yeah.
So anytime you can get anything that takes you to where you want to be, that's what you want to do.
I was even able to bring my dog
Yeah.
into the
How
hospital.
nice was that the first time?
It was so great
Hmm.
to have just like like I was cuddling with my kids, with
Yeah.
my with my wife. Well, like like a dog cuddle, like an animal cuddle.
Yeah.
There's something that's like kind of
Look,
cute about that,
look who you're
right?
talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live for my sweet, beautiful Maggie. She's like laying down right by our feet right now. She's right here, and she never leaves my side. And uh, whenever I leave anywhere and come home, the first thing I do is just cuddle her for like a good 2 minutes.
Oh, like
And
it's
just,
like it's therapy, right?
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Their job is to make sure you're happy.
Hmm. Yeah, so that was really wonderful. We just had to confirm that Ripley had his shots,
Yeah.
and then whenever Laura would come in at night, she'd bring the dog, and she had our dog to walk her into the hospital and walk her out of the hospital, and then he would just hang around in the hospital room and just like hop up on the bed and
Take it all in.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that was another nice environmental piece with that.
Yeah, being able to, go a little bit outside the norm and say, hey, can we allow this? And it never hurts to ask, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll let you know.
The other thing is I had a private room, which was awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
So I had been sharing rooms in the university hospital. And when they moved me over to city, because I needed a crane still to get in and out of bed, they put me in like a private room with a crane. So that was so nice because I had peace and quiet.
That's it.
I had some privacy.
Yeah.
I could sleep
It's
easier.
so important for your
right?
healing to get that rest. That's 1,000%. We were talking earlier, and I'm making a bunch of hospital visits right now, and the biggest issue isn't anything with the body, but it's not being able to heal because you're sharing a room, and then outside of that room, it's just chaos all over the place. And if you can't get rest, you can't heal. And in there, you're not
Yes.
resting. So you're so lucky to get that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
was
so hard
really
to get.
fortunate.
Well, I shouldn't say it's so hard to get. All you got to do is just get paralyzed and then need a crane. Then you can get it easy.
There are some people that had to share double rooms though, so I don't know how I got
Yeah.
lucky.
Well, I always
But
talk
it
about
was
the
good.
universe,
It was
man.
good.
We say it all the time. You do good things, they happen to you, and you've been doing good things your whole life. So those things, they tend to go, it's the yin and the yang, right? They go with each other. So I truly believe it's not a coincidence that that's what happened.
Well, I know I needed it,
Hmm.
and
I'm
it
sure
was
the
definitely
universe knew as well too.
helpful.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think the other thing about environmental, just kind of close up
Yeah.
here, and is post, discharge, environment is still a really
Huge.
important thing for me. Um,
Dude, just, and I just want to throw this in there as well. That environment that you moved out of the hospital and into at your parents' house, the amount of work. Oh,
oh,
your
for
mom and
sure.
dad did not stop for
Yeah.
what, like 2 months?
Yeah, so my
It's
parents,
crazy.
with help from friends,
Hmm.
uh, Nichols,
Yeah.
as and
Many
other
more.
friends
Everyone.
that are
Sherman was
around.
in there, all of our buddies, like everyone was just trying to help out where we could.
Yeah, and so mom and dad worked tirelessly every single
Dad was,
day.
I don't know how.
He's up at my house
It's
right now doing the
great.
same thing
Of course
in
he
my house. So I needed to have an accessible bathroom, and so they made a suite in their house that I'm currently living in right now, with a roll-in shower,
Yeah.
with a vanity I can roll underneath and do that sort of thing. Yeah, and you know what?
And not only that, dude, when they the first thing they did was erected a ramp for you in like a
That's right.
day.
Yeah.
Like everyone comes together, it's like, "Whoop, there's a ramp. What's next?" And that sort of was like the springboard into
Oh,
the
totally.
suite. Like it's
I
just
was just
nuts.
taken back
Yeah.
because it was going to be my first visit out of the hospital,
Hmm. Going home
going,
to
yeah, back to the
family.
family.
Yeah.
And when on the ride there, I was thinking, okay, how am I going to get up these steps into the house? And then when I got there, there was a ramp.
Surprise.
And again, I just overwhelmed. I just
Yeah.
started crying, like,
What else do you do, right?
yeah. And it was just like, it was very special.
You could never express how genuinely grateful and thankful you are through words or anything else. So it's like, well, I don't, then just, you know, overwhelmed,
Yeah.
instantly overwhelmed.
Yeah. And going back to the beginning of our episode and feeling overwhelmed, it's okay to feel overwhelmed if you
Yes.
can acknowledge it and, just take a moment to take it in, because then you can move forward,
I think that's the big
right?
lesson of the day there, isn't it?
I think that might be our lesson of the day, Gary.
Yeah.
Just, just acknowledge.
Acknowledge it and be okay with it and then
Yeah.
work through it. Man, so much learning.
Here's a fun fact. This is the last fun fact I'm going to give
Okay.
in this episode for now. Is I went to a meeting, spinal cord injury of Saskatchewan meeting, and one of the things I recall that was spoken about was their mentorship program.
Mhm.
And I got a mentor from, spinal cord injury of Saskatchewan.
Was that the guy who was teaching the transfers and all that, like the super freak athlete who was like, it's easy, just go like this. Bump, 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 bump.
Yeah, Jacob. He's a wonderful,
That's the
wonderful
dude
man.
right there. Yeah.
Anyways, they were speaking about mentorship, and part of the requirement to be a mentor is you have to be 2 years post accident.
Oh.
And the rationale behind it is you have to have come to terms with your new situation. And my takeaway from that wasn't like, oh, I want to be a mentor. It was like, okay, it's all right that I feel this way because it's 6 months from my accident, and it can take years, maybe 2 years, to feel that normal
Your
again.
new norm.
And that's okay. Like it's okay for that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's okay to have that. Well, no,
it's okay.
that's big, right? Is that something you think you might want to get into once you reach that point?
Maybe if it comes up.
You're already doing it now. Like this show is literally mentoring anyone else who's going through the
Oh, I
same
hope
shit.
so.
It
I
is.
hope
Well,
so.
that's why we're doing it, man. It's not just for you, it's for everybody. Right? Like that's the
Well,
whole idea behind this.
Yeah, you're right, Gary.
That's it.
Okay, so looking at moving into the next episode,
Oh baby. Teaser time.
teaser time. Yeah, I'm in rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do there? It's a
Oh.
full-time job, man. It's like I went like laying in a bed, just kind of counting the minutes down to like, oh, I got to get up, I got to get going, I got to do my rehabilitation, I got to do my therapies. And yeah, so next time we'll talk about the therapies that that helped me in my recovery at City Hospital.
Perfect.
Okay.
It's another great episode. How are you going to end it this time?
Found it.